First big truth bomb. My parents have always loved my sister more. Senior year, my parents did the big parental announcement. They were going to help my sister with college tuition and living expenses. Cool. Great. Fantastic, but when it came to me, they suddenly turned into motivational speakers from a dystopian YA novel. College is a time to become independent. You need to learn responsibility. You shouldn't expect handouts. Translation: they weren't giving me a cent. I wasn't shocked. Disappointed? Sure. Surprised? Absolutely not. I did what kids like me have always done. I hustled. I applied to every scholarship known to man. I wrote essays until my brain melted. I worked part-time jobs. I begged teachers for recommendation letters like I was collecting Pokemon, and guess what? I got a full-ride scholarship, the entire thing. Tuition plus housing plus fees plus a stipend. I told my parents, and for the first time in my life, they looked proud. For exactly 15 seconds, then they immediately pivoted into brag mode. Suddenly they were the supportive parents of a genius scholar. Sure. Okay. Whatever helps you sleep. But the second I stepped onto campus, everything changed. Being away from them was like breathing real air for the first time. No accusations. No punishments. No walking on eggshells, just me. For the first time ever, I made friends without worrying they'd be treated like criminals in my home. I studied what I wanted. I went where I wanted. I built my own little tiny life, but the biggest shift, I started seeing how abnormal my childhood was. Every time I told someone a story about my parents or sister, people stared like I'd just described being raised by wolves. One friend literally said, "Girl, that's not favoritism, that's psychological warfare." Slowly, I started pulling back. Fewer calls, shorter holidays, more emotional distance. My sister, she barely noticed I existed unless she needed something. Typical. Sister's college meltdow. And meanwhile, my sister was starting her own personal soap opera. First semester, she was still the golden child. Her boyfriend visited. My parents adored him. Second semester, he dumped her over the phone, and my parents lost their minds. And their version of events, he was a manipulative monster who used their precious girl. But if you ask literally anyone else, he probably just got tired of dating a human. Red flag. After that breakup, she spiraled, grades tanked, she stopped going to class, she called my parents crying every other day. Naturally, they paid for another semester, and another. She failed out of 2 majors, switched schools, failed again. Money, still flowing straight from my parents' bank account to her mess. She partied non-stop, burned through savings, collected warning letters from professors like trading cards. My parents insisted she was just finding herself. Sure, finding herself doing tequila shots on a Wednesday. My life. Doing great. Thanks for asking. While her academic career was dying spectacularly, mine was thriving. Had a stable job on campus, good grades, supportive friends, a clean apartment that nobody barged into to accuse me of things. And then, I met him. My now husband. Sweet. Funny. Patient. If golden retrievers were people, that would be him. He couldn't believe half the things my family had done. Whenever I talked about them, he'd get this protective, absolutely not look on his face. Was the first person who ever made me feel loved without conditions, and he saw me, really saw me, beyond all the trauma my family trained me to normalize. Started dating seriously, was stupidly happy. And my parents, they still didn't know he existed, because any guy I brought home would immediately become a target for my sister's flirting and my parents' delusions. But fate has a sick sense of humor, so of course, they found out, and that's where things start exploding.